Years go by, I'm in WWE, thriving, having a good time, and then I tell you that I got released.
I remember.
Do you remember?
Day.
What was your reaction when I got released?
I really didn't. I thought you were kidding.
Messing with you? Really?
Like, no, this can't be. You worked very hard. I always enjoyed watching you and how you succeeded.
Do you brag to your friends about what I do and what I've done before? Because I feel like you are a little bit of a bragger.
Yes, I know. I try not to, but
you try not
I'm very proud.
What is one of the most embarrassing stories you remember about me growing up?
I think you were only maybe 5, and we all went to your ballerina show.
This is a good one. Welcome to an all-new episode of Power Alpha's podcast, and today we have a very, very special guest, one that you probably aren't going to expect, and it's not Penny Laners. It is the wonderful Mare. We are welcoming my mom on this episode, guys, in honor of, Mother's Day was a couple weeks ago, and we flew her in for this past weekend, and we've been having some fun. And I'm like, you know what, we should get you on the podcast. So welcome, everyone. This is Mama Saccomanno. I know you guys have seen her all over my social media. Are you excited to be here, Mom?
Oh, yes, I
am. Guys, she's a little nervous. She did tell me that she was a little nervous, but I told her to be her authentic self because she's so funny. Everyone that's seen her on social media, she's such a trip, and we figured it'd be a good episode. We got our wine.
Yeah.
Let's cheers it up. It's very exciting. We also are very giddy.
Yeah.
So we may laugh a lot.
We had a long day today at the beach.
Yes. We had a long day today at the beach, as you can tell. We got a lot of color. The sun's kind of shining. The sun is coming down right now, so it's a little bright right now. But did you have a fun time so far?
Oh, yes. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful. You can hear the Italian accent come out. The New York accent, I should say.
I love coming to see my daughter.
Yeah. Do you? What's your favorite thing about coming to Florida?
You treat me like a queen.
Oh, see? I treat her like a queen. Yeah, so far we got our nails done. You got your hair dyed.
Yes.
She pulled a little fast one at the nail salon, guys. I'm checking out and finished. I just got my my toes done, and they were like, oh, told me the bill, whatever. I was like, oh, it sounded high. And then I see they were like, oh, eyebrow wax, mustache wax. I'm like, oh, she's getting the works. Pedicure, yeah, but that was given, yeah. So it's good. So you got all that done. Gonna get a little Botox tomorrow. Even though she looks great.
Oh, thank you.
What are you gonna be, 67?
Yes.
Wow.
A couple of months.
How do you feel?
I feel good.
Yeah? Good. Guys, she's nervous, as you can tell. Mom, don't be nervous.
No, I don't do this all the time.
I know, we're just having a conversation.
I know,
we just happen to have cameras up, and we're filming a little bit for the podcast. But I thought it would be interesting to do a little funny episode, something a little different, and kind of talk to my mom about some things and, what it was like raising 4 kids, what was, obviously I had 3 older brothers, so, me being the only girl and our relationship as it always has been very strong since we were very little, and obviously now it's even stronger. Everyone knows how close I am with my mom and how nice it is to have such a great relationship with your mother, how important that is. And she's like my best friend. We have the best thing about the time together is we have so much fun. Yeah. We laugh, cry, our sense of humor is very similar, obviously, and we just have a ball. So the one of the things I want to bring up actually is, my mom is kind of known for the funny things she just comes out with and just says. She's got a very silly mind. I think you get that from your family, right?
Yeah, my family. Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. My dad's side of the family was a little bit more serious.
Yes. Yeah.
And your side of the family, very silly.
We've always had fun, yes.
Yeah, farting and just being
just so much that.
Yeah, no, you could tell.
No.
It's okay. This is no filter here.
No, I was one of 9, so there was always something going on, and
it was really crazy that how was even your life with 8 other siblings?
It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. We're still all very close.
Yeah.
And my house was the house that everyone wanted to go to,
Yeah.
and spend time with. So my parents also enjoyed it too.
But that must have been crazy. Like, did you feel like you kind of didn't get attention all the time?
Not really. When I think back, it was always just full of a lot of love, and we just
I think you guys didn't even realize that it wasn't even a thing because you just always, there's always things going on. And
right. And, we always kept busy with sports and just...
What number were you again?
Six.
Six.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Six
I
of
know.
9, guys. Like, that's wild. So like when you were growing up, obviously it was very different than what it is today. And even when,
Yes.
you were raising your kids. But like, what would you say, like what were the biggest moments that you remember the most when you were younger?
Just holidays and getting together with my aunt and uncle, because my mom and dad, they only had like 2 other siblings, but my dad's brother lived out in, I think he was in Maryland at the time, but his sister lived in Florida, so we didn't really see much of them. It was just mostly my mom's sister and her husband, and they lived in Westchester. So that was always fun getting together with them.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, as far as you being, one of 4, things were different from when I was growing up.
Yeah. But just having all those kids, like Gary and I always, my one brother, we always talk about it. It's like, you don't realize what you have or what you don't have because you're just like, when you have a bunch of siblings and you guys are always having fun and it's just
Right.
always people in and out of the house, like you don't really realize like, oh, I don't have, that something that my friend might
Different
have.
life,
Or
yeah.
different. Yeah.
Right.
So like,
Yeah.
it's just different. But now it's very different with social media. I
It
think,
is,
too.
yeah. It's totally different. I never felt like we were missing out on much. Yes, vacations at times, but because we really didn't get to do that.
Yeah. Well, we didn't really go on that many vacations.
No, Dad was always,
Yeah.
your dad was always working.
Yeah.
But it is different today.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, that's what I wanted to get into too. It's like, what's your take? Because obviously, you didn't grow up with social media, and obviously today, I make a living off social media. It's obvious there's a lot of people that do. What do you think about people like making careers on social media?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you want to probably do it, right?
Oh,
too.
No, I don't think so. I enjoy watching you, and I'm very proud.
Do you ever think about like the logistics of like how it all works? Like, are you curious?
I mean, yes, at times, but I know you're very confident, and you always do well whatever you do. Let's put it that way.
Well,
You've always. I've never had to worry or had any concerns because you always,
Yeah. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
So like, what was your, like, obviously, when I started, fitness, and then I went into WWE, what was like your first take when like I told you like, Mom, I'm gonna go like try out for this, reality show. Like you remember when I did that Skype interview, right?
Yes.
And then I obviously, Like, what was your first initial reaction to that?
I wasn't concerned or nervous at all. I knew you were going to do well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You weren't nervous of like me like traveling or having like to...
No, not about that. I was more concerned of you getting hurt.
Right.
Because of the physical part of it. But
well, you didn't even know really the like we didn't even know what I was getting myself into.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I felt you were going in a direction where you were going to succeed, and I felt very confident about it. I didn't really have any concerns.
Yeah, I guess me out of all your kids really was the shining armor.
The easy. Yeah, you never gave me trouble. I never had to worry.
So you were confident in me, like doing my own thing, and you knew that it was going to work out.
Yeah, I didn't have any
was.
concerns or negative feeling. Yeah, I just figured, okay, this is something she wants to do. Granted, she got a college degree, which I was very proud of, and she did very well. And then this came up, and I felt confident, and I didn't really have any concerns.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I know those when I did get into the wrestling, when it got deeper into it, like when watching me on TV, you always like would like you you would call me sometimes and be like, oh my God,
okay?
Are you okay? Like, did that, especially obviously you guys know sports entertainment. And she would sometimes think if I like faked an injury or something, like, was that real? Or that didn't look good. And remember one time I got hit in the face and you were like, you still to this day think that like something happened to my jaw.
Well, you're vocal.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh my God, it was something with your throat.
My throat, that's
sore,
right.
And you were very uncomfortable for a couple of weeks. I had said you should go, see a doctor, but you said, no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And there's still times now when I feel that, I don't know if it's after talking so much, you do get that hoarseness.
Do sometimes, yeah.
And
I wonder why. It's weird.
I don't know. I think just from that impact. But that was a couple of years back.
It was, yeah. Maybe some trauma to do with that. But going back to when I was obviously like a little girl and, you didn't know where I was going to end up or anything like that. Like, what would be like 3 words you describe me as when I was little? Like, how would you describe me? I'm sure, obviously,
very
all the kids are
independent.
different. Okay, independent. I like that.
And in some ways, I think it was a plus that you grew up with,
boys, 3 older boys.
3 older brothers.
Yeah.
At some
because
point,
it kind of forced me to be independent, right?
Yeah.
It was like if there was times where I didn't want to like do just boy things, I had to like go do things on my own, which I was a tomboy for a little while, believe it or not. Okay, so independent. What about 2 other words to describe me?
Well, you were never a selfish person. You always had a big heart.
Yeah,
I should say.
even little.
Yeah. Very sensitive at times.
Sensitive. Okay, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cancer in me.
Yeah, and very loving, and you always had such wonderful friends, and you were always able to adjust to any type of situation. Thank God.
Yeah,
and
which helped me as I got older.
Yes.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right.
And yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember you going to kindergarten, and I used to watch you from the window because you didn't take the bus. You had that path that we went, across the
sick.
Yeah.
I used to leave the house we lived in was a cul-de-sac, and then there was like a really nice like a nice path walkway to get to the
and you wanted to go on your own.
Yeah, and I would go on my own, and I remember I'd open up the door and I'd wave a couple times, and you'd be like at the,
sure.
It was like in the kitchen, right?
That window. I would look out.
I'd look and I'd wave, and she'd be like,
okay, she's there. But you didn't. I mean, there. Obviously, in the beginning, I used to walk with you or go down to the bus, but then you were like, no, I want to go, and you were skipping along.
So yeah, I was like always kind of like independent. Yeah. I was very like, I remember times, I think we just talked about this recently too, like how, I wanted to be a teacher, and I would feel like I would go in my room and like I wanted to be away from everyone.
Yep.
And I would like set up all the stuffed animals, and I'd like start teaching. Like I was definitely like
you had the board.
The board. It's so funny.
You kept yourself occupied.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then I remember when you used to, my mom's worked in retail for like, practically her whole life. And there was a time where you worked nights at Macy's. And, my mom being the only woman in the house, obviously I'd go to my mom for things. She was also the more, easy going parent, I would say, as far as like my dad was kind of a little more strict, and being the only girl, I was a little
more
bit,
of a
yeah, he was very protective of me too. So like, certain things I was obviously very like, I got to go to my mom. But I remember when she used to work nights, there'd be like a time where I'd be like, oh, like I don't know, I felt like I didn't like you working nights.
I know, and you didn't tell me
like
till years later. And if you had actually expressed that to me, I wouldn't have worked. I was just doing it to get out of the house. I felt like I needed
You needed a
other
little
type of like being around.
No, I didn't really. I was like fine, but like I remember times where
well, I would read to you at night. I remember always going in the
it wasn't
bed
like you were home late.
No, but you were asleep by then because it was during the week. I wouldn't.
How old was I during that time?
I want to say 8.
Yeah.
8 or 10.
That's so crazy.
And I do remember you telling me that years later.
Later on.
I never liked when you worked.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't like when you worked late.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was only like 3 nights a week. I think I did a total of between 12 and 16 hours.
Yeah, that was Clinique. Was it Clinique?
Clinique at Macy's.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was great because it was like 2 miles from the house.
Yeah. Well, tell everyone what you do now, or where you work now.
Oh, right now I work for Bloomingdale's in White Plains.
She's one of the top sales.
No, I work for women and men's fragrances, which I like because I was in the cosmetic industry for about 10 years.
Yeah.
So this I find is not so much more challenging, but It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
You know, they don't
But
take as long to pick out a shade of lipstick, or
Yeah, that's true.
I don't have to do makeovers. But
Yeah.
yeah. So the
So
industry is
fragrances,
fun.
you would say that is easier than like cosmetics.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're like, obviously, you know, tell them how you're like number one, number
No.
two. Well, if you guys are in that area, make sure you go see my mom
yeah.
because she is one of the top sellers and
Oh,
she
yeah,
does a really good
sweet.
job there. And it's a great store, obviously,
Yes.
Bloomingdale's. And you know, maybe she'll throw you some samples or a little discount, you know. Okay, so you obviously, you know, with my career path, you were a little nervous, but you knew I was gonna thrive, and you weren't nervous in the aspect of me succeeding, which is cool. So then, like, you know, 8 years go by, I'm in WWE, you know, thriving, having a good time, and then I tell you that, you know, I got released.
I remember.
Do you
that
remember?
day.
What was your reaction when I got
thought
released?
I really didn't. I thought you were full, kidding.
Messing with you? Really?
Like, no, this can't be. And then you were like, no. And then I thought about it, and I knew how your attitude was towards it, and it made me feel better. But I was, I felt bad in some ways. I really did, because I know you worked very hard. And I always enjoyed watching you and how you succeeded.
Well, it was so sudden, too. So
yeah,
at first you were probably
yes.
like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a little bit of a shock.
I called you when I was in the car, right? Driving home from Orlando, did I call you?
No, I think you were home.
Oh, really? No, I think I told you before I got home because I had a like 2.5 hour drive, I think.
Oh, maybe you did. Okay, yeah.
I thought I
trying to
did, but I'm
think.
not sure.
And I was at the cleaners, and I just was like, I had to stop in my tracks.
You were like,
thinking
what?
about it. It's like, no.
So when, Trey,
Yeah.
so then obviously you know where my career was going and being able to monetize, myself and having a direct relationship with my fans with the paid content that I do and all that. You know, when I started making money outside of like the traditional path of what I was doing, you obviously were always very supportive of everything that I do. Like, but were you a little skeptical at first? Like, were you a little, because of like all like the stupid news articles and stuff like that?
Yes. At first, yes, I was.
And like people saying things probably.
Yeah, not so much people saying things. I just thought like, well, how long is this going to last for? Like,
Well, WWE, how long is that going to last
Well,
for
that's
too,
true.
right? Everything, there's always a means to an end, but obviously you never know. But like, I've been blessed with being able to build my brand in social media, and obviously we always talk about this on the podcast, and being able to, have all my amazing fans, and I'm able to have this direct relationship with them and, chat with them on these paid content sites and all that. But I think the biggest thing is, communication and also explaining to, family members what you do and being honest with them so that they understand, so they don't hear stupid rumors and stuff like that. I think that's a big part of it too. I don't know what's going on over there.
no.
So do you brag to your friends about like what I do and what I've done before? Because I feel like you are a little bit of a
Yes,
bragger.
I know. I try not to, but
You try not
I'm
to.
very proud.
I remember growing up, and my middle brother Matt, he was like the star football player, very smart, athletic, artistic, great looks, actor, like very charismatic, all the things, right? My mom, that was like definitely her favorite child growing up.
Well, you all used to say that, I know, and that
you
made
would
me feel bad.
You would brag about Matt everywhere we went.
Oh, no.
And it would be like, oh, Matt, this, that. And then like sometimes at like sports games,
Yeah.
you're a little bit like that mom.
Yeah.
What do
I
they call
was.
that?
Not a stage mom.
No,
but,
what's the one with the dancer,
yes.
what the heck is the
What
name?
is that? The dancing mom?
But it was it's not stage mom?
Yeah.
Anyway, you were,
Oh, you really felt that way? Oh,
you were a little bit like that.
Yeah, I was, because he
I think
was
Gary
sort of
could
a superstar.
agree too.
Yeah, but then Gary did well too with football. He had the same position in football.
They both were great athletes.
Yeah. So, but I think when Matt was younger, even before high school, he did well in the, what was it, the Little League of Football. Remember we used to go on Saturdays?
Yeah.
Well, that was actually when Gary played, but
Yeah.
I always felt like the adrenaline then too, like maybe.
Wait,
then
do
I
you
would
remember?
stop at
Oh, yeah.
Poppy's house and talk about it, how well he did.
Speaking of Gary with games, do you remember the time where we got to tell this story?
Oh, I think I know what you're going to say.
So like sometimes the moms would bring, you know, oranges or like whatever. I don't even know what other things they would bring. I was young. I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was mostly oranges, I think.
Right?
Yeah.
And my mom one time was like so excited, and she had like a big Tupperware of oranges.
Yes,
and she
and I
was
was walking,
I remember
right?
it was Yorktown with the path that goes,
It was
and she was
a walk.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a walk. And was Dad and I like behind you or in front of you?
You guys were like on the bleachers, but you could see me walking. I was making my entrance, and that's
yeah.
fell,
Wait,
right?
oh, we were on the. Oh, so you were walking and we were on the bleachers.
Yeah,
I forgot.
I guess I came in a little late. I met you guys there.
Yeah.
But you and Dad were
I think where she
hysterical.
fell. So they had this like path, and then like it wasn't like fully. There was construction going on. Wasn't
Yes,
it?
so there
Didn't you,
was like a
fall on
little
the
bit of
side?
red. Yeah.
And the oranges went flying, and Gary's like playing. Was it lacrosse? I thought it was lacrosse, right? I don't remember. Or maybe football. Was
Maybe it was football.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but
whatever. But he was playing. I think he like saw my mom like go flying with the oranges, and me and my dad are hysterical.
Yeah.
Because that's also like the humor. My dad and I are very similar in the aspect of like we kind of really laugh. Like
Yeah,
we're jokesters too.
Right.
We like
I
to-
think you have a tendency to laugh even when anyone falls.
Oh, anyone I know. And then that's why karma hit me when I fell on
Oh my
WrestleMania
gosh,
stage, the
yeah.
biggest stage of them all. Everyone used to say that. They're like, "You're the worst when people fall," and I'm like, "I know." And then I fall, but I can laugh at myself. If you can't laugh at
Right.
yourself,
yeah.
then obviously
Right.
there's issues. So that was definitely one of like the very funny
Remember
experiences that we
yeah,
remember.
I can remember that.
What's like, do you remember like, speaking of embarrassing stories, like what is one of the most embarrassing stories you remember about me growing up? Do you remember any like embarrassing stories?
When you were, I think you were only maybe 5, and we all went to your ballerina show.
Oh, this is a good one.
And we're all there. Her brothers were good. We always had to, they had to come. So we're sitting in the auditorium, and they introduce everyone, and Amanda gets up.
Why did I do this? I was a quiet girl too.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't.
She gets really
Loud.
close to the mic, and she
embarrassing.
says, "My name is Amanda."
No, Dumanda, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
Amanda Saccomanno. But the way you did it, it was so loud. It was so loud.
So my brother still imitates.
Yeah,
Matt does it
Matthew
really good.
does it. Yeah,
It'll be like,
Amanda.
like
Yeah, really.
Maria McIntyre, and then like the next girl, like
That was.
Rosemary Sultry, like whatever, and then it would be Demanda Saccomanno. Why did I
And you were
do
this
that?
little
And I was
thing.
little. Yeah, I just really
funny.
wanted to pronounce my
Pronounce
name
it,
loud and clear, so they would make fun of me for that. Definitely.
Yeah,
that was
the boys never.
that was
especially
that was a
Matt.
pretty embarrassing moment.
That was so cute though, because you were
It was
young.
cute.
It
And I
was
was-
innocent,
How old
I
was
guess
I?
you really wanted to pronounce. I think you maybe were like 4 or 5.
Wow.
Because I think I started you in ballet. I think you were 3.
That's crazy. So, Mom, do you remember the first time someone asked for my autograph? Mm-hmm. So, those of you guys who don't know, my mom lived with me for 4 years, was it?
It was almost 4 years. 'cause
Almost
COVID,
4
yeah.
years during COVID time in South Florida. I lived at a place in Fort Lauderdale. She was with me when I bought my first townhouse. She was with me for a lot of different moments, and it was a lot of fun. Like I said before, we had so much fun together, and then we obviously didn't know COVID was happening. So like
Right.
2019, 2020, we had a blast. I wasn't working as much. We were traveling to Orlando and Tampa. You were obviously not working when it got bad, and
Right,
I was collecting those unemployment
Yeah.
checks, drinking White Claws all day, sitting by the pool. She was living her best life. And I'd come home and she'd be like on the float, like just living her best life. But we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's when like TikTok got big, and I made you like do TikToks with me. Do you remember? TikTok was
That
really
one.
like blowing up. I'm like, Mom, we got to do this dance. I put her through
Yeah,
funny
but
shit.
the other one when you were driving home saying I got pulled over by.
Oh my God, I just posted that recently. Everyone
that was
loved
funny.
that video.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. So what was your like initial reaction the first time like someone came up to me?
I
and
remember we were having lunch,
got recognized.
and it was in Fort Lauderdale, and we got up to leave, and this gentleman came over and he said, "Can I have your autograph?" And I was like, "Wow."
Wow.
I was really happy, but a little taken back. And then I said to myself, oh my goodness, I'm so proud. You know, you've come so far, and I know there's more ahead. And just the fact that I was with you and he asked that, and I just
Crazy,
felt
right?
like
Yeah.
a movie star myself, you know, like knowing.
She was like, oh, I'll give you mine next, but mine I have to charge.
No, but
you
it
were
was
just like a little surreal. Like you didn't really like, you're like, wow, this is real. Like my daughter's getting asked for her autograph. Like what?
And then it happened quite a number of times after that too.
My favorite thing with you is mainly like, it wasn't in the beginning. It was kind of it was like, I guess a few years ago when you first did it. But the funniest thing is if someone does recognize me and we're out, you are behind the scenes. She's like the BTS videographer, and like I'll be like taking a picture or doing something, and it's really cute. She's behind the scenes taking a video or photo of it. And actually, it was really cute. Ray Lewis's mom did the same thing recently at the bowling alley when we went, because she was with us. And I said to Sabby, I'm like, she reminds me of my mom. She was behind.
Never goes away.
He was taking a photo with someone, and she's recording him. And I'm like, it's really cute, because when you see your parent obviously doing that, they're proud of their son or daughter, and it's cute, and they're very like excited for it.
Right.
I used to do that, but then there'd be other times where that one time
I know
we were
you
out
would
to
get
dinner,
upset.
she was like, when, maybe it wasn't the right time or place, and I love, when I meet my fans, and I'm always down to take photos and all, but my mom one time, like, she was pushing me, like, you want her photo? You want to take a photo? You want an autograph? And I'm like, calm down over here. You were a little pushy with that one.
I know. Then I got better.
You got better.
It was just the initial.
I had to train you a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I had to train you a little bit. That's so funny. So getting back to like a little bit of how, the times are different. And for those of you who don't know that are listening, my parents are divorced. They've been separated for like, almost 10 years now about. So my mom's, she's been living the single life for a while, and she's had some, serious boyfriends and stuff. But, what do you think the biggest thing that's changed over the years? Obviously you're with dad for a very long time, but like within the dating world, like now that you do, meet different people and you go on dates, like what do you think is different from when you were younger to like now? Obviously you're at a different point in your life, but like, what would you say like the biggest thing is?
Yeah, it's totally different. When I was younger and dating, it was just, we didn't have online dating.
Right.
And it was completely different. So now you meet somebody that you see on the computer, and then, you like each other, you start talking, and then
you have a match.
Yeah.
How does it you make a match?
It's not easy. No. And you're always a little cautious. I know I am.
Yeah, I always tell you have to meet them at like you always meet at a place where there's other people. You never like get, at someone's house or your house. You just never know.
Yeah,
the biggest thing.
I've been on a few dates, but like I would say 3, 4 of them were not good ones, and I knew right
Weird.
then.
Do you have any funny stories that you want to share?
Well, no. I guess some men or some women act different when they do go on these sites.
Well, that's the thing that's
certain things. And I was just like,
that's the thing that kind of scares me too. And it's also like when you're chatting with someone, via text or whatever, a lot of people act very differently behind a computer screen or behind a phone, and then you meet them in person and you're like, oh, well, like you weren't really the same. You didn't really act the same, or your expectations are different.
Yeah.
Were there any weird encounters that you?
No, I was just a little uncomfortable with one date. I had thanked him. We, sat and had some appetizers and some drinks, and then it was time to leave. And he was very much a gentleman, saying, well, text me when you get home and I'll walk you to your car. But then when he walked me to my car, I said, thank you, good night. And I just gave him a little peck, whatever. And he's standing there saying, well, is that it? And I'm like, yes, good night. Yeah, and I guess some girls, or like I heard
on a first
some
date,
people, well, yeah, they go online just to have, a hookup or something. And that's
like
not,
Tinder.
Yeah,
That's not what you're looking for. Ew, weird.
It was very uncomfortable, and I never spoke to him again.
That's it.
But
what is like, I also don't understand, like, I'm not in that dating world, but if I was, like, that's not how you get a second date from a girl or a woman,
right?
Like, in a way, like, that's
yeah.
not...
So I was sort of turned off, and I really didn't continue, because I don't look at it that frequently.
Yeah.
like some girls do. I mean, it could be a full-time job, whatever.
Well, we also just recovered that we just discovered that your page, you had your bio.
Oh my God.
Can we tell everyone?
That
Guys, so one night I'm staying at my mom's. Actually, recently I'm up in New York, and she's like, man, I don't know, I think it was Facebook dating, right? I think it was the Facebook. She's like, something with my Facebook dating app, the profile, I think it's weird. Like
they contact me. Yeah,
they contact me,
I
but then
hear
she
back
doesn't
from them.
hear from them, whatever. So I'm like, let me look at it. You know, obviously she's not that very tech savvy. So I go look at it, and her bio for her dating app says, no, I'm sorry. It's not her bio. It's
what my interests.
Yeah. So it's what you're no, it was her bio. It was your bio.
Okay.
I always mess
Oh,
this up.
yes.
It was her bio. Her
And
bio
I thought,
it said explain yourself. Obviously a biography, you know, who are you? And she thought it was who she's interested in. So she put in her bio, explain yourself, and she said, a gentleman, what'd you say? Looking for a nice man. No, you didn't say looking because it was bio.
Yeah,
so
I said, I'm interested in meeting a gentleman.
Oh, no, wait. No, it wasn't interested in meeting. It was basically, long story short, she was basically saying that she was a man.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So I was dying. I was like, well, I was like, maybe, you know, you look like a woman and you're saying you're a man. I don't know if there's some confusion
here. The way I was
here.
reading, and I went to go type it, I was like, I got to wear my glasses.
Yeah, you got to wear your glasses. So we fixed that.
Oh, that was so
funny.
funny.
Ever since then, it's been a little bit better, I'm sure. But yeah, I would say the biggest thing that's different nowadays is just like all these online dating, and you never really know what you're going to get. And it's scary out there.
Yeah, it is.
So
different world.
We're going to end the episode with some, like, not really fire rapid questions, more just like, you know, maybe what's your advice to some other moms out there that have daughters, and nowadays with social media, and how you do have to be careful out there. And, you know, it is kind of a wild world, but like, what would be some of your advice with like girls, you know, or young women my age or younger, like that want to chase their dreams, or they want to do this, and different things out there that people may be a little skeptical of? What would you give the advice?
Well, in today's world, yes, you have to be very careful.
Right.
But I think just to continue to strive and have confidence in yourself and know the right direction.
Yeah, and have the right people around you.
Yeah.
This way you're not taken advantage of.
Right.
But
to
be supportive.
Yeah. And to have that support system.
Okay.
Along with, I think, learning from other girls as well, if you have that.
Good like experience.
Yeah, if you have that relationship with other people that are in that field, so you receive the feedback. And
for sure. Educating yourself and making sure that you're in definitely. Okay, that's good. One thing you would wish you could steal from my closet.
Oh.
What would it be?
All those wonderful bags.
Which one in particular? Do you have a preference of which one? Or would it be like one of my bikinis?
No, I wouldn't be able to have any use.
I don't know, you look pretty good on the beach today.
No, I think, not to sound materialistic, but I think one of the Chanel bags.
Oh, Chanel bags, that black one. Do you have that black Chanel?
I have a different
one,
one, yeah. Mine's a little smaller.
Yeah, the other one, that black one that I have.
And you got me a Gucci one, which I love.
The Gucci one is good. Okay, interesting. One of the bags. I thought it would be like a certain, like a particular outfit or something.
An outfit, one of your one of those.
One of my WWE outfits.
Oh my goodness,
I remember that time you and Doodle put on or acted as me and Daria. One time Daria and I, we had our moms together, all four of us, and Daria's mom, we were in Boca, and she came out in Daria's outfit, and Daria's mom was pretending to be Sonya Deville. And did you do my entrance?
I think I did.
Well, the footage
but I don't think I didn't have your outfit.
Good.
Yeah,
that is so funny.
Daria had it at the house then. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're just going to end the podcast. Would you like to tell any of the fans anything, or would you like to say anything, your final words? Thank you for coming on.
Yes.
We appreciate having you.
Oh, just that I'm very proud, and she's a beautiful person.
Oh, thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us today. We had a blast this week, and I'm glad you were able to come down and spend time with us. And we always have the best time. So I was like, oh, let's get Mama Dukes on the podcast. We thought this would be a good idea. So we hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe. And follow all the channels. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And make sure you check out my latest videos on OFTV, the In Real Life, and Wrestling for Beginners. Those were two very, we had a ton of fun. I was a ninja warrior for the day, which, by the way, that I give a lot of credit to that, because that's hard work. And I lift and do a lot of different things, but that was hard. So go check them out. Great videos. And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.